Yo, what up? My name is Don, and today I want to talk about one of the biggest issues plaguing Diablo 4 that nobody's talking about right now because depending on who you ask, this either is or is not a giant problem. So let's get right into it. So, one of the biggest problems right now in the game is real money transfer. At least in my opinion, it's one of the biggest issues not being talked about. Um, and the reason I think that it's not being talked about is because of the largely varied opinions on it. For example, I went to Reddit to check out what other people thought about real money transfer and how it's affecting the game. My own experience, first and foremost, is that, you know, I've been playing Diablo 4 since day one. I've played Diablo 3 since day one. I've played Diablo 2 since day one. I've played Diablo 1 since I was very little. And I've never, in any game, even outside of Diablo, I've never paid for any sort of advantage. Now, just bringing it back to Diablo, in Diablo, you know, um, there hasn't really been a competitive aspect to the game other than when vaults came in. And the vault leaderboard, in my opinion, is absolutely affected by this. Like, there's no arguing that. Um, but for the most part, I think that the reason that most people don't care about this being an issue is because now we're going to go back into what people said off Reddit. Is that most of the opinions that I was gathering is that um, it's not really affecting anybody else, right? And some people are going as far as to say, well, how is Blizzard going to prove it? Because essentially, the way I understand these, RMT websites work, that will sell you all sorts of boss summoning materials or gold that you need, is that you pay the cost, and whatever package or items that you buy, somebody will add you in game, and they will just trade you the items. So how is it that Blizzard's ever going to prove that those items are illegitimate unless they have some way with the tools that they have and the systems that they have to detect if an item is duped? I have no idea how that works, so I can't really speak on that. But from my own experience, it's not really fun in Diablo 4 to, farm the plethora of bosses that you need, from, Varshan to Grigor in the Hall of the Penitent, to the Beast in Ice, to the Vampire Dude in the Darkened Way. Um, to get all those materials that you need to just have a chance of then going to kill Andariel or Duriel, to have a chance at your item drop. Just earlier today, I was doing solo Andy runs, and Andariel dropped me a double unique drop. This is normal Andariel, and normally when you get a double unique, there's a greater than not chance that one of those items is going to be an Uber. She totally screwed me. No Uber. I was bitter because it was my last run, and I had farmed a bunch of hours today and last night to get all the materials for these runs, so I was hoping to get something. That does suck, and I understand that, nowadays in gaming, everything is about effort and time. Like, how much effort do I have to put in? How much time is this costing me, essentially? And I feel like Diablo is in a very precarious situation where it feels almost like a mobile game. It almost feels like a gotcha game. Diablo themselves aren't selling power, kind of like they did in Diablo 3, but they are kind of so they have the rule, right, where you're not allowed to engage in RMT because there is the chance that your account might get banned, right? Blizzard is, at least the rules state that they're very against that. But I don't see people getting banned by the thousands or hundreds or whatever. And you can be darn sure that even I have and know people on my friends list who, without them explicitly telling me and admitting that they um, participated in RMT to get summoning materials for and or for Duriel, especially in season 3. When we run, 40 runs in an evening, and I wake up the next day before noon, and you have another 50 of both the stones and the shard ready to go for Duriel again. uh, All red flags are going off in my head, right? It's like, yeah, okay, you definitely bought those, and so it feels unfair. It feels unfair in the sense that, you know, I'm just gonna take myself. I have to put so much effort into farming these materials when somebody else can just pay literal, it seems like a race to the bottom, like literal pennies for these items, and I'm not even kidding. On one of these websites that I have in front of me, it is 1 penny per body part for Varshan. Now, why would I be concerned about Varshan parts? Because in the game, I don't know what the drop rates are, but you just seem to get more blackened femurs, gurgling heads, trembling hands more than you do the hearts. You always get more than you do the hearts. And if you go to the alchemist, you can turn um blackened femurs into other body parts. You can't turn anything into a malignant heart. So you always have to depend on malignant hearts to drop. They just don't drop very much. And on this website, I'm looking right in front of me, they cost 1 Canadian penny per heart. So it's not even, you know, um, 1 Canadian penny, and that scales up. So for example, I put in, um, well, let's just put in like, I want 1,000 hearts, right? That's $6.87. Dude, yeah, dude, Blizzard, Blizzard, I'm speaking to you now. How is it that you're going to, you know, hold the ban hammer over everybody's head that, scare them into playing it legitimately, where it's not even worth the time? Grinding for boss mats is not fun. You've not made it fun. Um, there's nothing that, like, for example, there's nothing that if there was some sort of incentive, for example, if we killed a boss, if the bosses were actually hard, and there was such thing like, if you kill a boss within a certain time period, you actually get 4 mats per drop. You get like four. If it's gonna drop, say it dropped all. Say you killed Vershawn, he's gonna drop, black and femur or whatever part he drops. I forget what he drops. The mucus slick egg. That's what he drops, right? You normally get one. You sometimes get two. But what if you killed them within a certain time period, you got like three, maybe even four if you killed them fast enough? I know people can one shot bosses, so that's why I said if they were actually hard, because they're not. The reason they're not fun is because they're mindless. They're mindless, just like Duriel and Andariel are mindless. On tormented mode, you've made it a challenge for the players that min max their characters, and I do consider myself of that crowd. The only reason I haven't really been min-maxing it this season is because I haven't got the Ubers that I'm looking for, and I don't really care to, you know what I mean? So, um, it's just not fun. I feel like I'm in this stuck state where I'm just like, okay, why am I farming for hours and hours and hours on end when I can quite literally get? I'm reading it right off the screen right here. Um, you know, Andy materials, 100 of each, or the Duriel materials, the stone and the crystal, 100 of each. So the Duriel materials, $2.97 for 100 of each. The Andy materials, $2.60 for 100 of each. I don't even know why you would care to pay the 297 if both bosses have the exact same drop loot table. They can both drop all the Ubers. Like, I just don't understand. Give me that 260. I don't want to get my account banned, but at the same time, I'm going, I don't want to spend hours on end doing something that's unfun. And even though Blizzard made Helltide and stuff a lot more interesting and a lot more fun, it doesn't really matter because it all just equals, like, okay, the drop rate on for example, the drop rates doing Helltide for the materials for Grigwar. What are they here? They are the living steel, is not so bad. You can get a ton of living steel doing Helltide, like a ton, a ton, a ton, a ton. But, Varshan, on the other hand, for the mucus leg egg is quite annoying still. Quite annoying. And even even if it wasn't so annoying, how are you ever gonna stop, bot farms that will just do Helltide day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out? It's like the only way that, if Blizzard cared about the integrity, Blizzard, honestly, if you cared about the integrity of your game, in my opinion, you would find some way to combat these websites that are just making the whole essence of playing end game in your game pointless. 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 Why don't I just level, like you've made it so easy to level in season 4? Why don't I just level to 100 in less than 16 hours or something like that? And then go pay less than $10, or I could just use $10 and get, like, quite literally hundreds, hundreds. That would get me about 500 of each material for Andy or Duriel. Literally, quite literally, get my uniques or my Ubers in within the first couple days. If I'm really unlucky, let's say within the first week, I still have. what, 500 heroes of each, so 250 runs. Like, it's not hard to drop a $20 bill and just get like, you know what I mean, like over 500 runs worth of materials. I don't understand. Like, Blizz, I just bought your Ultimate Edition expansion. So I got a free skin with that. You gave me 2,800 platinum. I went and bought another 2,800 platinum so I could get another skin. To get 2,800 platinum, it's $35 or $33 Canadian plus tax. It comes to like $37. It's almost 40 bucks. You're going to charge me almost $40 for a skin, and then you expect me to also want to play legitimately and dump hours and hours and hours into this mindless grind to not get anything and consider that fun? So I just don't know what to do. I would love to know what you guys think, but when I went to Reddit, when I went to Reddit and tried to see what other people were thinking, one of the threads starts out here: "Y'all buying mats are pathetic." I'm hoping Blizz just mass bans you clowns. The leaderboards are worthless with people just swiping to RNG Uber Uniques. That is all rant over. A lot of people are responding with things like, here is and I quote, here's one of the responses: "I'd say it's way more pathetic to worry about what other people do with their money." Nobody really cares about the integrity of the game, and that's why it's just becoming like a little mobile game where you just do your little leveling and then it's just pay, 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 right? And unfortunately now, with Blizzard introducing a competitive aspect to the game, if you're a player that does care about that, it's pointless. It's completely pointless. You know, you're just causing yourself 10 times more stress trying to keep up to players that will, mindlessly spend 10 or 20 bucks, and you could even just spend the $2.60 for 50 runs, and you might get all your Ubers in 50 runs. Regardless, how long does it take the average person to get 50 crystals and 50 shards for Durio? That's a lot. That is a lot of the other materials. A lot, right? You have to depend on then getting, 50 of all the body parts for, I think Varshan, the dude under the tree, right? And I mean, you can get 50 living steel super easily, like, probably within like two, honestly, within maybe even within one. I'm not even kidding. Within like one hell tide, you could get like 50 living steel. That's not hard to do, right? 50 living steel obviously is how many Grigor runs? It's like five per, right? So 5 is 25, so 10. 50 is 10 runs, and we're talking about 50 runs. So you have to get, um, what is it? 50 is 10 runs, right? We want to get 50 runs. You have to get 250 living steel in total, and then run Grimoire, however many times that is, right? The 40 times or whatever, to eventually get the 50 shards or crystals that you're going to need for. That's not fun. Blizzard, that's not fun. It's not fun. So I don't know what you want people to do. I don't know what you want people to do, right? Some people's ideas were, here's another one: ban people who buy mats, ban all who use third party websites. Simple as that. I'm a player. It's wild to me that like somebody else said like, I care about people just playing with integrity. Basically, that's what they said, and other people calling them out to be like BS. That's a nonsense. And I'm just like, WTF? Anything that I'm doing, I want other people to also be playing legitimately. You know, if it was a single player game, I don't care. But it is not a single player game. It's an online game that also has the aspect of PvP. If you're a player who doesn't care about PvP, you know, okay. But if Blizzard made it so, like, for a lot of these people who don't care about RMT, I'm wondering if they wouldn't care if they, just go off and play single player then. Like, if you don't care about legitimately playing with other players, then what if that entire multiplayer experience was taken away from you and you just got to play single player? Would you still be happy? If you think that your buying RMT isn't ruining anybody else's experience, then why not just play single player if there was a single player mode, obviously, right? Asterisk. But if there was a single player mode, why not just separate, those players, let them do what they want to do? And obviously Blizzard doesn't do that. And I think it's because smart business says those people who are willing to spend money on mats might also be willing to spend money on our sick skins. The skins are sick, but they're a little expensive. Come on, Blizzard, let's be real. So, what do you do? What do you do? Somebody's response to that was maybe Blizzard should make Uber bosses not need any mats to summon like bosses in D2 where you could just make a new game, right? Seriously, the Ubers they came up with are not that hard to beat. No, they're extremely easy to beat. They're mindlessly easy to beat, just brain deadly easy to beat. Um, so they continue to say, so why gatekeep players from having fun by making them do Hell Tides and Whispers? Okay, so I don't really fully agree with the last statement. Why keep players from having fun? I'm sorry, but running bosses over and over and over and over and over and over again is not fun. That's not fun. It's never been fun. And maybe it was a fun when I was a kid because we had never experienced anything like that before. But I've been playing this game for 4 generations, like 4 iterations of this game now. Diablo 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not fun to run bosses hundreds of times over and over again. And anybody who says that it is fun, what the hell are you smoking? Like, no, it's not, dude. So, what I'm seeing is that the majority of people just don't care. The majority of people don't care. Um, and I also am getting the impression that Blizzard doesn't care either because if they did care, they would do something about it, right? Um, you know, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what to do about it, or if the solution is to do nothing about it and not worry. It's almost like if a majority of people are doing, if a majority of people agree that I guess playing legitimately is stupid, and a majority of people agree that you know um, just treating the game like a gotcha game where you just pay to save time and essentially that buys you power through a third party. If that doesn't affect the game through, I mean, there's not really anything that goes along with the PvP in game. I feel like the PvP in game should be a little bit more fleshed out. So, uh, you can go to PvP zones and fight, but there's no like there should be some sort of like king of the hill for like a week or something who has the most kills. Like there should be leaderboards for PvP too. And as soon as you introduce more things like this, like more things with the leaderboards, so, like the vault has leaderboards, it just provides a stronger and stronger case for why there shouldn't be any allowable RMT anywhere near the game. Because it's already infected the game so hard. I'm not even seeing people do rotas. I'm not like rotas are not, if you don't know what rota is, it's when multiple people get in a group together to uh, share when every person puts in their boss materials like one after another. That way, everybody maximizes their chances of getting more loot. Right. So you've got 4 people in the group. First person puts their mats in first. You do that run. Second person puts their mats in. You do that run, and everybody has more chances of getting loot. I'm sure most people know that, but if you didn't, that's what it is. And I'm not seeing people do that anymore. And the reason I think that is because going back to these websites, and I'm going to pull a couple of them up on screen right now for you. Going back to these websites, it is so here we have right here, you know, um, these are boss material websites, or sorry, boss summoning materials off one of these websites. And this one is listing its prices in US dollars. But when you see how cheap some of this stuff is, it really makes you not want to put in the time because a lot of casual players don't even have a lot of time to play the game. I am not a casual player. I have a lot of time to play the game, and I still am not enticed to want to do that because there's no benefit that I get. Nothing. All I get is frustration because people that don't have to put in the same amount of work as me are getting more rewarded than I am. So, does that frustrate me? It does a little bit. It does a little bit, right? So, looking here, you can get all 50 of Varshan's materials, all 4 of them, 50 of each for a buck 95 US. Is that worth $2 if you live in the US? Is that worth $2 to you? You know what I'm saying? You can get exquisite blood if you're tired of farming for blood. If you don't want to do any more legions, you can get malignant hearts for this is even less than a penny. I'm not even sure why it's listing that fourth digit. I literally don't know, but it's literally a penny. It's a penny, right? A penny US for a malignant heart. We can go over to this website. It's the exact same thing, just different packages telling you the exact same thing. There are so many choices and so many websites now that it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter which one you pick. And I don't see any of them being shut down. This one is, I guess I can choose my, I love how you can choose price Canadian or English. But anyways, it's listing in Canadian dollars right now. And this one would be obviously even cheaper than the US website as far as I looked before. But, people are paying what, 30 million? 30 to I think I sold 4 Stygian stones the other day in game for 50 million each. They paid 50 million. Thought that was a decent price. Now I see them going for 30 million. So I think I scored, right? But you can get 50 of them for $9.60. Dude, come on. When I didn't even know, but somebody, ran me through a tormented boss today. It drops 5 items. 5 items. So it's two Stygian stones per. That's 25 runs, right? 25 runs to get 5 items per run. 5 times 25, 125, right? 125 Ubers. Sorry, not Ubers, 125 uniques that have the chance to be Ubers. Wow, dude. How long would it take you to farm up those same materials to get, um, you know, 25 runs in, 25 tormented runs in? You know what I'm saying? It's really frustrating. It's really disheartening. It's really demotivating when the price of convenience is so cheap. It's so cheap that it's just like, okay, why am I inconveniencing myself to actually play the game? Somebody's argument online is, how does it inconvenience you? Like, were you having fun for those 4 hours? And the answer is, God damn it, no. My name's Jeff. You know what I mean? No, Jeff, I wasn't having fun. It's not fun to farm for 4 hours and get nothing, bro. That's not fun. You know, is- like I have it on screen here. Why is it discouraging? Did you have fun playing the 4 hours? Did someone buying said mats affect you in any meaningful way? I don't agree with people buying selling mats for real money, but come on, it doesn't hurt me in the slightest. I have fun doing what I do, and frankly, I don't care what others are up to. Then I go back to my original point. Why just not play single player? I think that anything that is an online community where you're sharing the world with other people, especially if there were more PvP zones, or especially if you could join, if there was like such thing as like PvE servers and PvP servers, then I would be especially mad. I would be especially mad, right? Because just like there was PvP and PvE servers on World of Warcraft, PvP meant kill on sight. Like, we're fighting. Your alliance, I'm horde, we're fighting. So in Diablo 4, if it was always kill on sight, where you were in a PvP server and I saw somebody else, then I would be especially mad that other people were paying, literal pennies to get items and increase their power level astronomically before I could do it legitimately. The only thing I think that should make the difference is luck, right? But it's not. I mean, it is in some case, right? Because you still have the luck of the drop, but you know, um, I don't know, man. You're taking a lot of that time, uh, a lot of that time sink, a lot of the effort out of it. So I don't know. Another comment. I don't see why it's a problem, or I don't see a problem with it. This isn't a game where you're competing with others. If you want to spend money on mats, then let them. Agree 100%. Why would Blizzard ban anyone who's buying mats? You can literally trade them already. People just don't care. People just don't care. So I'm like, am I like out of the loop? I am honestly going to, at this video, including a short, including a write up to all the Blizzard employees that I follow on on Twitter. Because honestly, if you guys don't care, why should I? If you guys don't care about the integrity of the game, that your own rules state is not allowed, why should I? Why shouldn't I pay the $2 to get all the materials, in the world? And, if you just sit there and say to me, well, could you get banned? Then honestly, you don't even understand the impact of the rules that you're writing. You don't even understand your own system. Like, you either are against it or you're not against it. Pick one. Don't have this gray zone that has people scared to save some time on a game when they're not having fun doing the thing that you're forcing them to do. That's all from me. Would love to know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, if you like videos like this, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.